After 2 years of dispute and disagreement between LIV Golf and the PGA Tour, the tours have finally come to a conclusion of a merger. This merger is a massive move and will completely revolutionize world golf as we've known it for decades. Whatever side of the beef you've been on, there are many unanswered questions about what it means for the tours, the players, and even the fans. On the morning of June 6, 2023, in what is undoubtedly a groundbreaking move for the sport of golf, the DP World Tour, the PGA Tour, and the Public Investment Fund, LIV's funding supplier, announced a merger between the three tours. As you'd expect, the merger is aimed at creating a unified organization that promises to take the game to new heights. Frankly speaking, no one saw this move coming. The tours had been at each other's necks since the inception of the LIV, then known as the LIV Golf Invitational Series. And eventually, sooner or later, we all expected there'll be a compromise by one tour or the other, particularly because it was clear that LIV wasn't going anywhere. We were probably expecting one side to win the lawsuit, get millions in fines from the other, and do a bit of damage to the other's reputation. In the best case scenario, you'd probably have just expected the franchises to come to an agreement to coexist peacefully. But a merger? Now, that's a whole different level, and we'll tell you one thing. This merger has had so many go back on their words and others eating their word. It was announced by PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan, the same Monahan who once said playing in LIV events would warrant an apology. Monahan's tune had changed after the merger, and he stated that the deal was for the benefit of the sport, saying in his statement, "After 2 years of disruption and distraction, this is a historic day for the game we all know and love." He said a lot more about it, bringing unity to the game, how the fans will benefit, and the idea of growth and expansion. So, let's see about that. What are the benefits that come from this merger? To start with, probably the most significant benefit of the merger is that it will create a unified global golf calendar. The LIV, PGA Tour, and DP World Tour have all operated as independent bodies. That way, they always have games scheduled simultaneously. Of course, it's not on the same golf course, but fans often get caught between different events from different tours, all at the same time. Now, this unified calendar will reduce player scheduling conflicts and provide fans with a more streamlined viewing experience. This merger will also allow players to earn points in the new unified system, which will be used to determine eligibility for all the world's biggest golf tournaments. And there's more. Yet another exciting aspect of the merger is the potential financial opportunities it could create for both players and organizers. 2 heads is better than 1, and 3 is better than 2. As the three tours combine their resources and reach, they'll be able to offer bigger and more lucrative sponsorship deals to players, and at the same time, they can attract more fans and investors to the sport. What this will mean in the long run is that there will be more of an overall increase in prize money for golfers who compete in the newly merged tour. So far, everyone's winning from the merger: the fans, the players, and the tournament organizers. How do tournament organizers benefit from the newly merged tour? Well, the merger presents an opportunity for them to expand their event's reach by tapping into the collective fan bases of all three tours. As the new tour grows, it will likely attract new events and sponsors, providing more opportunities for golfers to compete and earn points. At this point, you probably think there's no way this merger will go sour, right? Well, that's not impossible, given that this merger is part of a broader trend in the sports world, where individual leagues merge to create more significant, powerful organizations. The ultimate goal of this merging trend is to create more predictable sports products for media, fans, sponsors, and investors. While it spells out so many financial benefits for the players, not all of them take it well. Phil Mickelson, who has become a de facto spokesman for the LIV, was elated at the news, tweeting, "Awesome news." But it's fair to say he is one of the few happy ones after this merger was struck. The majority of PGA players, like two-time major winner Colin Morikawa, weren't pleased about having to find out the news on social media. Yeah, we agree, it sounds crazy, but from the look of things, the LIV and PGA agreed on the merger without first informing the players. And While that violates the idea of players being the most important part of the golf organizations, some players will be left feeling worse than the others. Particularly PGA Tour players who fought tooth and nail for the integrity of their tour. We're talking about the likes of Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. The two became the face of the PGA over the entire course of the lawsuits and players defecting. Tiger Woods had other personal issues to deal with along the way, like his recurring ankle injury that had sidelined him for over a year's worth of events. But Rory, boy oh boy, did he give his heart and soul to defend the PGA Tour. His commitment to being at the forefront of the battle with LIV has even been explained to the reason his performance on the green have slacked in recent months. All that only for this merger to happen, and it all looks like it was for nothing. Rory has suggested that although he feels like a sacrificial lamb after having spoke so strongly against LIV, he has come to the terms where if he puts his personal feelings aside, he understands why this has happened and that it will benefit the game moving forward. If the public investment fund are going to take over, then at least we can steer them in a direction we want the game of golf to go down. They're probably not the only ones who would feel this way, because we've just witnessed LIV Golf get to eat their cake and have it. How did they do that? Remember when the LIV came into the picture with a selling point of way higher money prizes for golf tournaments with less game time played? Everyone saw it as ridiculous until the Saudi-backed franchise started dishing out hundreds of millions to get the signature of the big boys like Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka. The idea of getting paid more sounded awesome to everyone, and for all the PGA Tour and DP World Tour players who refused to sign contracts, it was solely based on moral and sentimental reasons. Some felt they owed the PGA their loyalty, some stayed because of the historical attachment to the tour, and for others, it was about the LIV's Saudi Arabian sponsors who have a history of human rights violations and other political misdoings. This merger, however, makes it look as though all is forgiven. LIV got to disrupt the normal flow of professional golf that we've had for decades, got to use what some call blood money to do that, and still ended up with a merger that allows them to stay relevant. This merger has come just weeks away from the 2023 US Open at the Los Angeles Country Club. There isn't much question as to how that tournament will go, since we've had LIV players already compete, and win, at the previous two major tournaments for the year. So, they'll definitely be in Los Angeles. However, the question hangs over the Ryder Cup set to take place for the first time in Italy in September. LIV players had been dropped from the Ryder Cup rosters, including Henrik Stenson, who was initially named Team Europe's captain. Joining the LIV meant they had to be kicked off the DP World Tour, and according to DP World Tour Chief Executive Keith Pelley, that's one of the two criteria to be a Ryder Cup player. Pelley, talking about the LIV players, added, "They're not members, they would have to be reinstated. Maybe they will request reinstatement, but we'll have to see." But that's just for future Ryder Cup events. According to Pelley, Stenson is part of a quartet of Sergio Garcia, Ian Poulter, and Lee Westwood, who will not be available at this year's Ryder Cup. According to the DP World Tour Chief Executive, Ryder Cup rules state that you have to become a member of the DP World Tour by May to be eligible for the Ryder Cup team. Since the merger just came in June and the 4 Ryder Cup veterans weren't in position to demand being let back in on the DP World Tour, they aren't eligible to be in Rome. But other than those 4, we're going to have one hell of a Ryder Cup, since we'll get to see all the best players from the Team USA and Team Europe go head-to-head like old times. And not only men's golf will gain from the merger, LIV already has the Aramco Ladies Saudi International Series as a recent professional golf tournament under the supervision of the Ladies European Tour. Like you'd expect from Saudi Arabia-funded golf tournaments, the tour has fat money prizes. This merger will most likely see the Aramco Series merging with the LPGA, which will be easier to pull off since the Aramco Series is already affiliated with the Ladies European Tour. But, like every other part of the merger, no matter how exciting it sounds, we'll have to wait and see how it all turns out to be. There already is bad blood between a lot of personnel from the tours, players and executives alike, because of the lawsuits that lasted for months on end. With that in mind, we don't expect it to be an easy process for the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour to work with the LIV Golf. But, at least, we're sure they'll have to make it work thanks to the merger.